What's going on, beautiful people? I am the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray, bringing you guys episode number 4. And today is a very exciting one. I'm very excited for this personally. We've got my man, the one and only Panther2, not Panther 1, Panther 2, on the podcast at the Grandmaster's table today. Go ahead and say hi, my man.
Hey guys,
Panther 2 is here after devouring Panther number 1, so I'm very excited for you to be joining me, my man. How's everything going?
Yeah, it's doing great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. It's a big thing to ask because I'm on the Pacific Standard Time. I'm over here on the West Coast, and for me, it's 8:30, but for him, it's about 11:30, almost 12 o'clock. So it's a big commitment from a man, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Weekends I'm up usually on this time. We all had a battle tonight, so I did that and then just chilled for about 30 minutes and waited on you, so no worries.
Nice. So guys, today's going to be a day for us to be able to get to know my man, Panther2, to fire off some questions that I'm sure a lot of people want to know. If this is your first time that you guys are here, please do me a massive favor. Please consider subscribing, turn on post notifications, hit the thumbs up button if you guys are excited for this episode of the Grandmaster's Table. I'm very excited from the success that this podcast has been getting, and I do appreciate all the support. It's just blown my mind whenever I came up with this idea, and then these amazing guests have come on and have just brought this whole thing to life, and for that I'm eternally grateful. So with that all being said and that all out of the way, let's just hop right on into it. The very first question I have for you, my man, is who exactly is Panther? Tell us more about yourself and your personal life. Okay. Let's reframe it to be more specific. What is it that you like to do for fun outside of YouTube?
Well, I really like to play Pokemon, obviously. So even when I'm not YouTubing, I do a lot of other. So actually, YouTube is kind of the worst part about Pokemon for me. I have 3 kids. I have one on the way. I have 2 kids and one on the way. So it's kind of hard for me to get quiet time. I know you know what that's all about as well, since I know you have young ones as well. But outside of Pokemon, I hang out with my friends a lot. Miticus, the other creator of the APA, we hang out a lot in real life. Play basketball quite a bit, around twice a week with my friend group. And we just hang out and play other games as well.
That's amazing. I actually did not know that you had another on the way, man. Congratulations.
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, she's due in April, so it's almost time.
We're getting there. We're almost till the tail end of January, so once February rolls around, it's gonna be here before you know it.
Oh, I know it.
Guys, the commitment, for those who don't know, so there's lots of age ranges for the community of Pokemon in general, because there's the overall audience that Pokemon brings, the people that love the anime, people that love the card game, people love the video game like ourselves, and this age range is incredibly broad. So there's as young as I think I've seen 17 to around our age range. I'm 28 years old, so this game touches a lot of people, and it's an awesome way for people to connect. And so, like he said, for all of us to be able to come together and have a good time with Mons is phenomenal. So you are personal friends with Miticus outside of this whole thing?
Yeah, actually, we're best friends from high school. So we don't live too far away from each other. We still hang out. We've been friends since I was 16. Yeah, I'm 29 now. So yeah, it's been a journey. Especially just for our friendship outside of Pokemon, and of course, our APA journey's been a wild one as well.
That's an amazing segue to my next question, man. So Panther is actually the co-creator and the co-commissioner of the APA, the world famous across the platform APA, the American Pokémon Association. I am a part of his D League, which is the APA Academy. And where did that come about? When did you guys get that started?
So APA in general or the D League?
APA in general, and then how did the D League come about?
Okay, so APA actually started President's Day of 2016. Me and Mikey, that's Miticus. It's Miticus' real name is Mikey. Me and Mikey were on my couch that President's Day. We both worked for the same bank, and bank holiday and we're playing some Showdown, and we were like, why don't we try this? We had watched the GBA for a couple seasons, and we wanted to get into it, so we started our Showdown League, which is still going today in its 15th season. Most of you guys probably know APA Main. That's in its 6th season currently, and that's the league that actually is on YouTube. But we got our start with our Showdown League about 4 years ago, and yeah, it's in its 15th season now. Like I said, we've got actually 5 Showdown divisions, 2 Little Cup divisions, and then 2 Wi-Fi divisions for a total of 9 different APA leagues. So some say we get a little carried away, but really we just want to provide we know how hard it is to start a league and to really get your foot in the door playing Pokemon. We just want to create a fun environment for everybody to be able to join and just be able to play Mons and have fun. That's really all there is to it. We never expected the APA to really take off like it did, and we've had a lot of help along the way, especially from our amazing graphic artist Elite Four Dan, who is the 3rd commissioner of the APA. I don't think we'd be where we are today without him, but he came in about season 3. Me and Mike just really got it going. Our first season on Showdown was Little Cup, and we had a blast with that, and it just kind of took off to what it is now.
Yeah, 100%. You guys are running a well machine, that's for sure. Just being a part of the APA Classic this season and just seeing how much you guys partake in, it's amazing. For those who don't know, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree, the APA is up there in regards to like the gold standard of Draft League. A lot of people that are just fans of Draft League that like to watch YouTube content for sure tune into everyone that's in the APA and find it in the same level in regards to the GBA, even the WBE. Those are probably the top 3 leagues that you can find on YouTube. So this next season is actually going to be starting up pretty soon. Make sure you keep your eyes out for that. It's going to be a great one. I'm actually personally really excited to see you guys play. I know that you guys are actually announcing the coaches, right, for this coming season on Twitter.
Yeah, we're in the process of it. We've actually we actually had our original lineup, and we were ready to go with things. We actually, as you know, we've drafted already, but with the news that came out, it created so much hype. And the news I'm talking about is not only with the post-home release that we all expected, but the new Mons that are also coming out as well. So there's just some talks of just delaying some things. I think we're going to wait until home actually comes out to see what all gets released, and then redraft from there. So we've kind of put the coaches' announcements. We've kind of tried to space them out some more to kind of bridge that gap a little bit. We know it's coming out in February. We just don't know when in February that home's coming out. And once home comes out, that's going to give us a whole lot of information. Right now, we can speculate to what's going to be in the game and what's not, but we can't really draft on that. So that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of in limbo right now. We want to start. We're excited to start. We're excited to play, but we have to get enough information to be able to competitively draft tiers.
Yeah, 100%. That just goes to show the level of attention that's being put into the EPA. Just how much the creators of the overall league is paying attention to. And so for you guys as fans is definitely something for you guys to tune into. The fact that we're putting this much attention to give you guys the best content on the platform is just phenomenal. So if you guys haven't already dipped your nose into the APA or the APA Academy, I highly suggest you do so. And with that being said, the APA Academy, I know it came a little bit later on. What was the idea behind that?
Well, so we've had a lot of people that actually have came from Academy and have played in the main league. So obviously, when APA main started, it wasn't as big as it was. We started with a small friend group, and season 1, season 2 both went very smoothly. Really fun seasons. Season 3 is though when we really took off. We made some friends with Kaale, and Kyle actually happened to get A-Drive into the league, and that was really the point where we really saw our view numbers jump a lot. So Kyle joined, and Leo did. Kelly was already in the league from season 2. We had a couple of NPA coaches in there as well at the time, but so that's how main really kind of took off there in season 3. And right after that, though, We decided to create a D League though as well, and that's just really to create a pipeline of talented entertainers that were there to give themselves a platform to jump up and get the right exposure. So, you know, if you guys do keep up with the APA Academy, and if you don't, I really encourage you to. There's a lot. Of course, you're going to find a lot of battlers in there that are just starting. A lot of content creators that are really polishing up their skills. But there are some amazing guys in there, like D Ray here, like Matt
Mhm.
O'Shea, like Ugolbina Owen, that have really kind of polished their craft a lot and really are ready for the next step. They just need the right spotlight put on them to really succeed on the YouTube game. So that's the idea behind Academy is to have a pool that we can pull from to give those guys the right type of exposure. So like take John Jr. for example. I think when he started in APA, he had like 120 subs. But you know his channel has really taken off just from his one season last season. He's over 500 subs now, and he's growing with a great goal of 1,000 for the end of the year, and you know he's on pace for that. So that's just a great example of you know just finding the right people to put the right spotlight on, really.
Yes, 100%. And to kind of bring back on my backstory, I was just a fan and I would watch. My background is in VGC, and whenever I decided to get into the draft league scene, my number one priority was to get into the APA Academy, just from what Panther said is the exposure, is that it gives us a platform to be able to showcase our skills, to be able to showcase our ability to create content and to create quality content. So if you guys haven't already, or if you haven't even heard of the APA Academy, I highly suggest you guys tune into this fun season that's coming up. We are going to be mirroring exactly what Maine is doing. Very high level competition in that league in both sides, Maine and in Academy. So it's going to be a fun ride. If you guys haven't heard of it before, please, I highly consider you guys checking it out. Sweet. So, man, in regards to being on the outside of Pokemon, I know that you have a family and you got your 3 kids, but when did you actually get into the franchise in general, just as a fan, as the overall
Oh,
franchise of Pokemon? When did you step in?
that's a pretty cool question. So I'm 29 now. I was actually 8 when I got my original Game Boy Color, and I was either 8 or I was just about to turn 9, somewhere around there. I got my original Game Boy Color and Pokemon Red, and that's where I started. I grinded out the game with soloed the game with the Bulbasaur, well, Venusaur, but that I really didn't understand too much about it. But I just fell in love with that, fell in love with the anime. I still, well, I don't watch the anime anymore, but I remember back when I was 9 or 10, watching Ash's Krabby in the elite, the Pokemon League, evolving to Kingler, and I just remember going nuts then. But I've been with Pokemon since the start, so to see it through where it's came from and what it is today, it's still just really captures the imagination. Pokemon can be played on a very simple level, just running through the game, having fun with it, or it can be played on a very, very complex level competitively. So that's really what I like about it. You can make it as big of a chess game as you want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome to hear, because we actually came in at the same time. Then we're both Cantonians. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Just from the age, when it came out, I immediately fell in love. The cards, the show, everything, the games, Pokemon, like Stadium and stuff like that on the N64. I was all about it. Still am.
That's phenomenal, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask you probably one of the hardest questions that any fan of the franchise can ever answer, and you can only answer for one mon. What is your favorite Pokemon of all time? And this doesn't have to be competitively. This doesn't have to be your favorite Pokemon that you use in draft. This doesn't have to be the one you always gravitate towards. What is your number one if someone were to say, I can give you this Pokemon in real life? What would it be?
Definitely Mew. And that's just aesthetically, it's my favorite. It's one of the originals. I loved it in the first movie, and it's also one of my favorite Pokemon to use in draft as well. So I really don't have a lot of complaints about Mew. I love. I know I'm Clefable based with the Carolina Clefables. I'd say Clef is probably my third favorite though. and then Arcanine at number 2 right there. So it's all a bunch of Kanto Pokemon. So I'm
Yep.
simple, but at the top's definitely Mew.
Yeah, once you become a fan and come into the Kanto region, it's hard to kind of detach from that 100%.
Yeah.
That's a surprise to me. I actually thought you were going to say Clefable.
Yeah, I love Clefable in draft format.
That's
I love the way it looks. I love its kind of origin story where they kind of think it's an alien that kind of just fell to Mount Moon. But I got to go with Mew. Just I've loved it since I was a kid. And then just it's one of my favorite mons to use in draft league format too. And
awesome.
I'd say my 4th place mon is Chin Chow. Chin Chow's I'm a really big little, I love Little Cup, and Chin Chow's definitely my favorite Little Cup mon to use.
That's a first. That's cool. That's interesting. So my next question, I think, is going to be a little bit different. Probably going to be a couple different parters, right? So I know that at the moment, when we're out of the off season for the APA, we don't necessarily see you post content-wise on your YouTube channel. But when you do, what is it that describes you? When people haven't heard of you, when people haven't heard of your content, when people haven't seen you battle, what makes you so special in regards to making content? So basically what I'm asking for is, what do you like to do and what do you like to provide people when they come onto your channel?
I like to try to provide people with education around competitive battling. So, I'll admit it myself. I'm not the most energetic person. I'm kind of quiet when I talk. I'm not one that's going to hold your attention for a huge amount of time. But somebody that really has inspired me is Gypsy King. He's a guy whose content I love to watch even before I ever met him or ever talked to him. And I think he's a guy that really helped me. I would love to help people grow as battling too. If there's 2 things that I want to be remembered for whenever I'm gone away from the community, whenever I finally leave it, it's I want to help people grow as a battler, and I want to give people the platform to succeed on too. So that's really the 2 things that I want to be remembered for. I don't ever expect myself, or even I think Mightycase is pretty realistic about that as well. We don't ever expect ourselves to ever blow up and us to do this full time, but we love playing Pokemon, and if we can have fun and help some others succeed, that's what we're gonna do.
That's awesome. So 100%, he's the man to watch if you guys are still learning on the format. If you are stepping into this for the first time, I definitely will recommend to check out his channel whenever he decides to post his videos for his matches. And the man's a threat. So whenever you have to play Panther, it's a big venture. It's not just something that you prep for a couple days before the game. It's something that you start from Monday until the day you play of. So it's really tough to play this guy. He knows his stuff, that's for sure.
Well, I've been around long enough, so I hope so by now, but I appreciate that, man.
So now, is there a missus in your life?
Oh yeah, I'm married. We've been married for 5 years this year. So, yep, she's carrying right now, so she is definitely asleep. She goes to sleep a lot earlier than to getting 7 months pregnant.
That baby Panther is on the way, guys. Baby Panther is he's got his whole little family of Panthers. That's awesome, dude. So is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Is there anything that you want the viewers to know about you that they may not know already?
No, I can't think of anything off the top. If you're looking to get your start in competitive battling, definitely try to link up with the AP. Like I said, we have 5 showdown leagues. And we have a league that's specific for beginners in Indigo too. So, it's a great place to get your foot in the door. And, there's a lot of other leagues that advertise in our league. And, you can really make some connections and some really good friends. There's some guys that I've played with for, 4 years. I've played this game for 4 years with, like Dan. And, funnily enough, Dan's actually coming over 3 weeks from yesterday. So 2 weeks, 6 days, he'll be here actually to meet me and Mightycase for the first time. He's flying over from London, England to little old North Carolina. So you can really meet a whole lot of people that that can really make a big impact on your life through this game. So, if you watch it, if you just watch Moms on the Side, if you're just a fan of D-Ray and watching and wondering how I get into it, definitely reach out to D-Ray and he can help you get started. D-Ray's a great guy. You're going to see big things from him.
I appreciate that 100%, man. So this leads into one of my final questions. I do want to get your opinion on the meta that's going on right now. I do want to get your opinion on Generation 8 overall. So, in regards to Draft League, what do you think about it so far?
Well, I think the Draft League format right now is a lot it's going to look like once Home comes out. So there's a lot of moms missing to right now. Now, for example, I'll give you Hydreigon, for example, right now. It's missing Roost, so you've got to play it very offensively. Here in a couple of months, that Pokemon's going to change a whole lot, especially with the release of Pokemon Home. And I'm just using this as a general Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon missing moves and abilities right now that they would typically have. So the game looks a lot different than what it's used to. A lot of moms don't get as reliable of recovery. There's a lot of bombs that have went up a lot tier-wise in the Draft League format just because moves like Hidden Power have been eliminated, or like Pursuit and Knockoff have Pursuit's out of the game completely, but Knockoff's been lost on a lot of moms. So like you're seeing a surge in like ghost types being especially deadly, like Gengar and like Aegislash. So the game looks completely different than what it did in Gen 7, obviously, with the loss of Megas and with the loss of Z moves. But I think it's definitely fresh. I think if we don't get some new mons soon, which I know they're coming with the expansion pack releases in June and November, I think it's going to get stale pretty quickly. You're going to see the same cores over and over again. But I definitely think it's a fresh change for now.
There we go. I'm back. That's 100% agree with you that the meta has for sure shifted to be 100% more offensive because the reliable recovery is not non-existent, but it's a lot less than it was before. So people have to for sure adjust their play styles, especially if you like to play more of a slow pace, thick kind of build aspect to it. So people are shifting, people are adjusting, and it's been a really healthy change in my opinion. And everything you said, 100% you nailed it on the head. Now, in regards to Generation 8, the other side of it, the aesthetics of it, what do you think about the new Pokemon? Is there anyone that has come out recently that you are a fan of the most?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of ones that I have the opportunity to try. So I've only done one Gen 8 league so far, and I'm in a Gen 8 Little Cup right now. So I haven't really gotten to try a whole lot aesthetically. I like Corviknight a lot. I like Morpeko. I like Grookey and Rillaboom. Grookey's probably one of my favorite Gen 8 moms. Just overall. And like I said, I play a lot of Little Cup, so I like the baby mom. I'm excited to see moms like Toxicity. I'm probably not even saying that all right. Obstagoon. It's definitely a mon I want to draft. And just really, so APA is actually doing Gmax Pokemon draftable. So just seeing some of those new Gmax moms are going to be pretty cool. I'm still not 100% sure on what they all do yet because I'm not in a league that allows it. So I haven't really had to look into them that much. But with APA starting pretty soon, we're definitely taking a closer look at that.
Yeah, that's a good segue into my next question was the mechanic of the game. So we've had Generation 6 that brought us Megas, we have Generation 7 that gave us Z moves, and now this generation giving us Dynamax. I know that it's still kind of relatively new to you since you haven't really been given it the chance to dip into it just yet, but on your first impressions of Dynamax, what do you think about it? Do you really think that it is overpowered? Do you think that it's going to be plaguing the draft league scene or just the overall competitive scene? Or do you think it's going to be more of a positive shift than what we've had in the past?
I think it's definitely more negative than positive. Dynamax has a place in draft league format, and I think that Gigantamax captains can be used. So if they're priced right, I'll say that too, because there's some of these Gigantamax moms that are really, really good. So having that big penalty there for taking a Gmax Hatterene, for example, making you lose some of your free points for it, I think that's perfectly okay. But having like free Dynamax or something like that, where anything can Dynamax at any time and just steamroll a team, I don't think that's going to be the competitive wave. Now, if you're asking me what I like more, do I like Megas? Do I like Dynamax/Gigantamax, or do I like Z moves? It's definitely Megas. Megas, I felt like added a whole lot to the game, and you could just sit there and ban those individual Megas that were too overpowered, like Mega Lucario or like Mega Mewtwo, for example. So I definitely miss Megas. There's a lot of Mega Pokemon that I loved using. And it really just gave you a fresh look on a lot of Pokemon that you loved over the years too. So Megas were definitely my favorite. I do hope they bring it back. Although I'm really excited about Galarian, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno too.
Yeah, the DLC is exciting. So kind of going back to what we talked about before, which is kind of delayed the APA for good reason, is that the DLC is coming out, and along with the Pokemon Home feature, which is the cloud service that is going to allow us to bring past generation Pokemon into these new games, it's going to come along with this DLC for Isle of Armor as well as the Crown Tundra. And these games are going to give us about 200 new Pokemon, and most are going to be legendaries, and some, from what we understand right now, are going to look a little bit different. So if you haven't seen the legendary birds of Kanto that Panther and I are 100% fans of, are going to look a tad different. We don't know if they're going to be changing types. We don't know if they're going to be changing their stats, but aesthetically they look phenomenal. And with the additions of these Pokemon, it's going to change the draft league scene. And like he was talking about, Dynamax does add that little element of making a smaller Pokemon more of a threat and just rampant everything else. For sure, I do believe that Megas, I do agree 100%, are a little bit better, and I hope that they do bring them in the future. So, with all that being said, do you have anything that you want to say with our closing thoughts here?
I mean, just appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming on, man. So, guys, again, if you guys haven't dipped into the APA yet, if you haven't heard of it, I definitely recommend you doing so. I will leave the APA Twitter link down in the description below. Feel free to hit the follow with them, and we'll keep you guys posted on any news and updates for the APA main league as well as the APA Academy. Panther, my man, I do want to thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today.
No, man, I appreciate you having me.
Alright guys, well, thanks so much for tuning into the episode number 4 of the Grandmaster's Table, and I do appreciate the support that the podcast has been bringing. It really does mean a lot to me. We're going to get the heck up out of here. I'm going to let him go to bed because I know it's super late over there. So I'm going to say my goodbyes, guys. Have a great rest of your night, and above all else, be nice. Peace.